Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So, recently I came across this article from a Gamer Ranks, and I think this was interview that was conducted with Famitsu, which is a Japanese company with Herman Holst. And on this interview, Herman Holst actually confirmed that Sony will continue to make live service titles as they are learning from Helldivers 2. Now, listen, before we continue reading this article and what Herman Holst has said on the interview, yes, Helldivers 2 was a success, but it wasn't a success because of Sony. It was a success because of Arrowhead. Arrowhead had this great idea that they brought in, and this great idea obviously has became what it is today with the Helldivers 2. But that doesn't mean just because they were successful with that original idea doesn't mean that you'll be able to implement that same formula to work on other games. And we already have seen that with Concord. He says that they're learning from Helldivers 2, but what were you doing in past 8 years? Have you not learned from Concord that there's already free games like Overwatch 2 and others? They're free, and therefore you shouldn't charge people money for something that's a live service. But anyway, let's read. We'll get to the whole thing. We'll come full circle. Stay with me. But first, let's read the article, and then I'll explain everything what I mean by Herman Holst hasn't learned anything, but Sony hasn't learned anything either. But let's continue. So anyway, as reported by Insider Gaming, Holst told Japanese gaming outlet Famitsu that the company will continue to focus on developing live service titles along with the story-driven single-player titles that our players want. Holst went on to explain why Helldivers 2 convinced them that they should continue in this direction, saying, "We are learning a lot." Here, I'll highlight this. "We are learning a lot as we establish the ability to develop high-quality live services such as Helldivers 2, attracted many players through continuous content provision and achieved results that support the potential of live service titles. Holst is now managing a direction that was started on the PlayStation former CEO Jim Ryan, but no one that Sony could brush aside. In the same way that Nintendo was forced, albeit briefly, to commit making mobile games, Sony cannot ignore the general trend of live service. PlayStation fans may point and jeer at Sony's biggest disaster in Concord and their failure to capitalize on their Bungie purchase with Destiny 2, but as we know, 61.7 million PlayStation units sold are not being matched by sufficient sales of first-party games like Marvel Spider-Man 2. That's game's 11 million units sold, maybe for Insomniac, but it reflects poor attach rate for the console and led to layoffs at the studio." All right. Let's just dive into this really quick. What does this tells me? This tells me one important red flag that I already have noticed about Sony, and this is the lack of leadership when it comes to PlayStation right now. We used to have that leadership in PlayStation with Jack Trent and even Sean Layden, but ever since Jim Ryan came in the suit, and then this guy. I know he was a developer. I know, Guerrilla Games. I get it. He worked on some pretty amazing games. I get it. I understand that. But now he's the CEO. Now he's running the show. And I just don't think he knows what he's doing. He might have been a great developer, which I'm sure he was. Making the Killzone 1, 2, 3, and even the recent one with the Decima engine, Horizon. Yeah, sure, success on that. But I don't think he knows how to run this company, this brand, dude. I'm telling you, because he said that he has learned, and they're learning from success titles like Helldivers 2. But what he doesn't understand is Helldivers 2 was one exception. That's like once in a lifetime that something like that comes along, that it's a sleeper hit success overnight. Okay? That doesn't mean that you'll be able to use that same formula on every single live service game. Clearly, it didn't work out with the Concord. Concord looked pretty good. I mean, the graphics were nice, right? It ran pretty well. But what the problem was, well, you had to pay for it. And it didn't work, did it? You thought, okay, we did the same thing with Helldivers 2, okay? And people will pay for it. I think the same formula will work here as well. People will pay for it. No, because you didn't deliver the same formula. The formula that we wanted. Nobody asked for Overwatch 2. Nobody asked to pay to play something that's a ripoff off of Overwatch 2 that we can play for free. I mean, look at the Marvel Rivals. It's free. And it's gazillion times better than Concord. And we don't have to pay for that. It's free. We get to play all of these Marvel characters, right? And it's free. Look at the first Descendant. That's a high-quality AAA. It looks like a high-quality AAA Unreal Engine 5 game. It does. And it's free. Right? I mean, we can go with the Valorant. We can go with a bunch of other games. Okay? There's a huge list of free live service games. So, the Sony and Herman Hulst are missing the point. And the point that they're missing is, have you take a look around? Why are you focusing so much on Helldivers 2? That was Arrowhead. That was their thing. And they got lucky. They found that magic in that lightning bottle, whatever. And it happened. But it doesn't mean that same formula from Helldivers 2 is going to work on every other game that you want to make as a live service and have people pay for it. People in general don't like paying for live service games. Well, here's another great example. KT Racing, Nacon, publisher Nacon, developers KT Racing, Test Drive Unlimited, Solar Crown. How did that work out? It didn't work out quite well. People don't like paying for live service games. So Herman Hulst needs to look at the live service games that are free, that are successful. Instead, he's focusing on Helldivers 2. Maybe you should focus on Concord's failure and ask yourself a question. Why did we lose $400 million? That's close to $500 million. Maybe you need to ask yourself, oh, gee whiz, was ist das? What happened? Nine. How did we lose? How did we lose? Was ist das means, what is this? Nine. No. How did you lose? That's in German, Deutsch. How did you lose? 400 million. Close to $500 million. You lost close to $500 million because you guys didn't do your research. And for the life of me, if some poor schmuck like me can do a research on internet and find out what works and what doesn't work, are you trying to tell me a big giant corporation like you, Sony, and like you, Herman Hulst, is having a difficult time to do a proper research, to look at and see what people want, what people don't want? How difficult is it to do that? It's really not that difficult. All you have to do is open up your laptop and start researching. Nobody wants to pay for a live service titles. And on top of that, nobody wants to pay twice to play it on a PlayStation or on a PC. And then when you come to the PC, you have to sign up with your PlayStation credentials. So you're forcing the PC players to sign up with the PlayStation credentials and then pay for it. And then you're forcing them to have a PlayStation Plus membership. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to do that. Do you know why? Because they have options. See, the beautiful thing about 2025 gaming today is I can choose. I don't have to stick with you, Sony, even though I got 3 PlayStation 5s. But I choose to stick with the Xbox Game Pass. Do you know why, Herman Hulst? Why I'm sticking with the Xbox and not wasting my time on the PlayStation? Because PlayStation, it's giving me nothing other than just asking me for this. While the Xbox Game Pass is giving me a lot. It's giving me plenty to choose from, to play how I want to play, to enjoy day one releases of these games, the big giant titles, right? Even the upcoming Sniper Elite, I don't have to pay for it. It's included. While everybody on the PlayStation will have to pay for it. $70. Plus the PlayStation Plus membership, which is an additional $10, which is the basic one, the essential. So that's a total of what? 70 plus 10, 80. $80 just to play a Sniper Elite. I don't have to do that. And also I get the rewards. So the more I play on the Xbox, the more points I earn, and I use those points. And guess what, Herman Hulst? I can use those points to pay off my monthly membership. So while I'm playing all of these games that are included on the Game Pass, and including the day one releases, I also earn the points and use those points to redeem the gift card and use these gift cards towards my membership every month, and I can shave down the price from $19.99 to $14.99 or sometimes $9.99. Where's the PlayStation Stars? Where's the PlayStation Rewards? What benefit are we getting from PlayStation Plus? A premium. Why isn't Helldivers 2 included, Herman Hulst, on your PlayStation Plus premium membership? Why wasn't Concord included day one on the PlayStation Plus membership? So you want to do a live service? You're focusing on a live service, but you still haven't learned your lesson, Herman Hulst. I mean, this is a big L. What I'm seeing here, it's a failure. And no wonder that Sony has been failing since 2020. Let's look at the CEO. No, before I end this video, this is for you, Sony fanboys. Yes, for you Sony fanboys out there who are watching this. I know, it's you. You're the ones. They're struggling right now. You wasted all that money on your super overpriced console, and now you can't even brag about it because there's nothing to brag about, okay? You're going to brag about 1800p versus 1440p? Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. Okay? So, this is for you, Sony fanboys. Let me ask you this. What happened in 2020? Who was in charge? Jim Ryan. Who promoted the PS5? Jim Ryan. How did the PlayStation 5 do? It did okay. Yes, I know there was a pandemic. It did okay. What kind of exclusives in the past 5 years since 2020 did we get? Okay, just calm down. Ask yourself this question. What kind of AAA heavy hitters did you get between 2020 and 2024 in past 5 years? Returnal, and Astrobots. That's it. Returnal and Astrobots. The only new IP was Returnal, and that's it. Everything else was timed exclusive. Everything else was the already established IP, like God of War 2, Ragnarok, and Spider-Man 2. And that's about it. That was about it. In 5 years, that's all you had. Let's look at PlayStation 4. Between 2013 all the way through 2019. PlayStation 4. We got Killzone, launched on 2013. We've got what you call it, that other game that came out, The Order 1886. So you had Killzone, The Order 1886. We had the reboot of God of War. We had, let's see, Ghost of Tsushima. We had Days Gone. We had The Last of Us Part 2. We had Spider-Man. We had, let's see, what else? I know I'm missing something. We had heavy hitters after heavy hitters, dude. Detroit Become Human. Maybe I'm missing some more exclusives, but we had ridiculous amount of exclusives. Year after year, year after year, all the way through 2019. And The Last of Us Part 2 was the last one, prior to, PS5 being announced and released in 2020. So there's a drastic difference, and I'm making this portfolio for you, Sony fanboys, so that way you can understand and be educated. All right? So there's a drastic difference of leadership with the PlayStation 4 when Jack Trent and Sean Layden was there versus what you have with Jim Ryan and this guy, Herman Hulst. And you can see that difference, contrast difference between what we had between 2013 and 2019 with Jack Trent and Sean Layden versus what we have with Jim Ryan in 2020 and then Herman Hulst now. So between 2020 and 2024, you only had one IP exclusive title that no one really cared about, and that's Returnal. You can't count the God of War Ragnarok because it's a sequel. You can't count the Spider-Man 2 and Miles Morales because they're sequels. They're sequels. They're not new IPs. Okay? So, you had nothing new, innovative, that came out in past 5 years. How pathetic is that, dude? You can't beat yourself in the chest and say that PlayStation 5, it's so great, because it's not. I know, because I live and breathe PlayStation all of these years. I know when PlayStation used to be great, and I know when it's not, and it's not. In the past 5 years, it's not. That's why so many PlayStation fanboys are moving over to PC. Some of my friends who are the hardcore PlayStation fans have moved to PC. And there's others who are making videos and telling you they're moving to Xbox, Game Pass, and PC. And Nintendo. Some of them are using emulators and enjoying games on the emulators on Nintendo, right? Why is this happening? Because Sony, it's not what it used to be. If you look at PlayStation from 2013 to 2019 with the PS4, it was a success. With the PS4 Pro, it was a success. With the original PlayStation VR, with all of these exclusive VR games, it was a success. It was a success. And then what happened? Change of leadership. You had Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan came in on scene, and what happened? Greed happened. Greed. And because of that greed, this is what you have. This is why you have what you have right now. Super overpriced console, all of these live service games that nobody wants to pay for when they can play it for free, for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? So that's where you at. People ask me, oh, you were flip-flopping. I'm not flip-flopping or nothing, dude. All right? There's no flip-flopping here. I'm calling it for what it is. When Sony gets their act together and when they get their shit together, when they start doing something good, when they start making it right for us as the gamers and, the ones who are paying for their consoles, when they start treating us right and giving us what we want, then I'll give them the credit. I did the same thing with the Xbox. When Xbox was sucking with Redfall and other games, I was, criticizing Xbox. Now, I'm giving them the credit because they're doing something right. I don't care. I'm not tied up to any brand. I'm a gamer, dude. I've been gaming since Spectrum ZX Sinclair, way before your time. You don't even know what that is. You have to Google it or ask Alexa or Siri to tell you what Spectrum ZX Sinclair is since 1982. All right? That's how far I go back, 1982. Spectrum ZX Sinclair. Go look it up. That's how far I go. So I don't need you little kids down typing on the comment section with your little stepmom who gives you the gift card to buy these games to type down on your little to tell me or educate me about the flip-flopping, okay? Or contradicting. There's no contradictions here. I give credit where the credit is due. Now, when I talk about Mark Cerny, I give Mark Cerny credit for acknowledging that the teraflops play no big deal at all. They play no deal at all. Teraflops mean nothing. It's just those 32 working groups that help to give you a little better clarity. And even he says it's a mid-range upgrade. And what does that mean? It's a mid-range. It means there won't be a drastic difference. It's just for those who want a little extra something. For those who want that little extra cherry on the top. But that cherry on the top, it's not going to be a drastic difference. So I give him a credit for that, for clarifying that, hey, this is not RDNA 3. We're not creating a next generation console. We're just doing an upgrade. And that's all it is. It's an upgrade, but it's a very expensive, costly upgrade. That's all. So when I criticize when the criticism is due, and when I give credit when the credit is due. I'm a fair person. I don't just go around and go to some ridiculous brand cult and just blindly just support the brand cult like you guys do. Just having the blindfolds of just worshiping your brand and your corporation. That doesn't do anything for you. Just being simps. You guys are nothing but simps. Simping to justify the stuff that you paid for. The super overpriced console that you paid for. And you're just running around and bragging about your super overpriced console that you paid for. And you know you wasted your money on it. And you could have spent that money elsewhere. But now you have to go and just go to my channels and my comment section to type some stupid nonsense. Maybe you should do better research about what you purchase. Maybe you should use your brain and think about these things. Stop being such a sheep, mindless sheep, following the brand. I'm not attached to anybody. I'm not attached to Microsoft. I'm not attached to Sony. I could give less than 2/4 of an beep, you know what, about either of these brands. But I will be with the brand that gives me benefits. I will choose the brand that gives me benefits. I will stick with the brand that gives me benefits. It just so happened that in this case, in 2025, Xbox Game Pass, it's giving me a much, it's the only company right now that's giving me a better deal to enjoy this super expensive hobby called gaming. As you maybe, unless you're living in some kind of a cave or under a stone, to be a gamer, it's very expensive. It's super expensive to be a gamer. So Game Pass gives me at least the ability to still continue at my age 46. It still gives me the ability to continue to enjoy this hobby, which it happens to be a very expensive hobby. So there, hopefully that clarifies all of the stupid nonsense that you kids write down below on the comment sections about flip-flopping and contradiction. Why don't you look at my YouTube channel, okay? 8.5 thousand videos, all right? Don't just look at one video of me criticizing a brand. Go through my entire 8.5 thousand videos, which we all know you will not do that. But the point being is, I don't care about fanboys. I don't waste my oxygen or breath on you fanboys down below. To me, it's just irrelevant what you have to say. It's a waste of my time. But if you guys want to waste your time and type, hey, I don't care. Click make me views. Let me profit at least from you. Let me monetize from you. Let me get something from you. All right? So that's the way I look at it. But I could care less about what your opinion is about me. You can have your opinion all day long. That is your problem, not my problem. But just remember, your opinion is just your opinion. It's not a fact. Okay? I know what the fact is. And I know what the opinion is. While you guys down on the comment sections having a difficult time to distinguish between the opinion and the fact. This is a fact. What I'm reading to you, it's a fact. The facts about the PlayStations are the facts. Okay? They're not opinions. They're facts. How terribly they have failed. I gave you the facts between 2020 all the way through 2024, how badly PlayStation 5 has failed to deliver on the greatness that once it used to, on that same momentum. And I also gave you another fact between 2013 all the way through 2019 with PS4, PS4 Pro, PS4 Slim, and PlayStation VR Original. And the success that they had. And I gave you that fact. You see, I bring out the facts. And you guys should do that too. If you want to worship your brand, at least you should be able to criticize your brand for screwing up. Yeah. And you can change. You can change their mind. If majority of you would stop being blind worshippers, and if you tell Sony, hey, we're gonna switch to Xbox, we're getting tired of this, and you'll see how quickly they're gonna change their business, how quickly they're gonna change everything, how quickly they're gonna put the new CEOs and put the new team and remove this guy and get someone else to run the show, and you'll see how quickly things will change. But the change only comes in is when you guys, because remember, you're the bloodline. You're the one making them money. You're the one that's making this company exist in the first place. The PlayStation brand. It's because of you guys. But as long as you guys continue to be comfortable with what you're getting, that's exactly what you're going to get. The day you stop giving them for what they shouldn't be getting, for the stupid live service games that nobody wants to pay for, as long as you're willing to pay for these stupid live service games that nobody wants to pay for because they're free. I can play this on Roblox, for crying out loud. I can play it on my calculator. I can play it on my old Nokia phone. It's free. There's free to play games out there. But according to Sony, no. We are Sony. It's our Sony logo. We should... Sony, it's so out of touch with reality, man. I just want to say this before I just and it makes total sense why they're so out of touch with reality. Because look at their leadership. This is their leadership. So stubborn not to realize. Like, hey, we just lost 400 million. We just lost $500 million. We just lost $500 million on a live service game. And we're not learning anything from that. And why did it fail? It failed not because it was another hero shooter game like Overwatch. There's a lot of hero shooter games. It failed because you had to pay for it. That's why it failed. It's simple as that. It failed because you had to pay for it. If you didn't have to pay for it, if it was included on a PlayStation Plus membership, no one would complain. Because majority of people have a PlayStation Plus, and they're like, okay, this is included with PlayStation Plus. All right, cool. All right, I don't have to pay for it. Cool. Or how about make it free to begin with? How about make it free to begin with? And you'll see the kind of success you would have gotten with Concord. You would have got more than 400 million. You would have got probably billions of dollars in revenue in the next few years. But hey, again, that's Sony for you. This is why I favor Microsoft more than I do Sony. Because I do my homework, I do my research. I know what Sony used to be, and I know what it's not. And my friends also who step away from Sony, they know this. They know I'm speaking the facts. All right? So there's a big difference between what Sony used to be and what it is now. Don't talk to me about the past. That's an ancient history. What Sony used to be. Yeah, what Sony used to be. right? Well, that's gone. That's past tense. We're talking about now. What Sony is right now, it's certainly not good. All right? Because they're not doing anything for you or for me. While Microsoft, it is. And those are the facts. Whether you want to accept it or not, that's up to you. That is your right. But remember, the facts are the facts. You can accept it, don't accept it, doesn't matter. The facts are the facts. And that's all I want to say here at the end of this video to all you lovely Sony fanboys. All right? Maybe you should go try out PC. Maybe you should go try out Game Pass. Right? Maybe you should play your games on Game Pass on this device right over here. Play a Black Ops 6 on this. Right? Yeah, but no, you would rather just make this guy rich. Make this company rich. And waste your money on your beloved brand. Pfft, my God, man. Anyway, that's all I had to say. 31 minutes. I'm here to speak the facts. I'm not here to, to live in some fantasy bubble, all right? That's it. I'm not living in a fantasy bubble. I keep it real. I'm speaking the facts, okay? These are the facts. It's not just my opinion. It's a fact. These are the facts. You can fact check everything I said. Go ahead, right after this video. Fact check everything. All right, I'm out.